Hi, everyone. My name is Camila Ramon,
And I'm Melissa Ortiz.
and this is Hasta Abajo. On every episode, we got to start with some cafecito, or today, maybe some mate and
Ooh.
catch up. Meli, where are you at? I don't even know where you're at.
Girlfriend, I don't even know where I'm at this point. I'm in Atlanta. What's up, ATL? Um, this is amazing, Cami. I don't see you often with mate. Obviously, you're Argentinian, but I know you well, and you don't drink mate often. But you also just came back from Argentina. Yo tengo café acá en el vasito.
Obsessed. Yeah, I was in Argentina with my abuela, living the abuela life, playing Scrabble with her for like 2.5 weeks. And I came back drinking mate. But also, it was also because I've tried to drink mate so many times before, and I was like drinking it at the wrong times. Like I was like drinking it on an empty stomach and then getting nausea. Not good. Do not recommend. But now I got a different yerba, and I'm drinking it at different times. And it's always great, like during a conversation for sure.
Wait, tell me what yerba. The people want to know real quick because I love mate. I really do. My husband drinks it all the time. We ain't even Argentinian and we like it. But what's the scoop
You're
here?
you're about to get me canceled. This one is La de la Cruz, Rosamonte or something like that.
Yes, I know which one that is.
Yeah, Rosamonte. It's not the Cruz one. The Cruz one, my cousin said was too strong, but he sent me another one that he said was like apto para gente con estómagos sensibles. My cousin Guido, he said it's pipore. So if you got a sensitive stomach, check that one out.
That sounds like a 30 and over problem, even in the mate world.
Yeah, for sure. Meli, you just celebrated your anniversary,
I did, girlfriend.
but I saw that Christian, your husband, was at the Boca Juniors game
Yes. This
during
is
your anniversary.
this is an occurrence, guys. So Christian, my husband, and I got married June 16th of 2022. But for some reason, June for me is always insane. Except for that year, 2022. I mean, that was insane because, like, I mean, we party, we drank, that was amazing. Then every year after that has just been full of football. So I've been covering like World Cups after that and Copa America and Euro. And this year, of course, is the FIFA Club World Cup. So I'm here out of a studio in Atlanta. And
The studio looks sick, by the way.
it is. It's so sick. And my hubby is just, living up his life, his soccer life at the stadiums, going to the game. So he went to Boca Juniors game and he's a Boca fan, which you love.
Yeah, I'm also a Boca fan. I have a question for you. If people
Yeah.
want to watch you, where can they watch you? Can you tell them?
Yeah. So, well, first off, any like behind the scenes stuff, obviously on my socials. So at Melissa Ortiz 5. But then if you want to catch me on air, it's at DAZN. So DAZN actually has a free app that you could watch all of the games and studio shows for free. And there's like a paid one, but you'll get like a little bit of commercials if you don't go that route. But that's okay. Like I have the free one too.
Mhm.
And then some of the games are on TNT. So like you just pop on the television and we'll be on it. But those are just a certain amount of games. I think the one I'll be covering Inter Miami is that on TNT. So yeah, tune into DAZN, TNT, whenever there's a FIFA Club World Cup game. All of our studio talent's going to be covering every game, every pre, every half, every post. So I'm hitting the books when I'm not here talking with you. I'm studying and watching soccer, which I love. So
Couldn't be me.
But yeah, celebrated anniversary. Check out the video I posted on my Instagram. It's literally me like, this is my FIFA Club World Cup. And then it pans over and my husband's like dancing to cumbia in the stadium to Boca Juniors.
Yes, 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 yes.
But yeah, but it's all good. It's all good. How about you, Cami? Okay, let's catch up. You just got back from Argentina, right?
Yes, I just got back from Argentina. I got right back to work. And I got a new tattoo.
What?
Yeah.
Tell me
Don't
more.
tell my boss.
Tell me more.
It's teeny. It's teeny weeny.
Let me see
But I
it.
got this tattoo on my wrist. It's in honor of my cousin. He
Oh.
was an actor and a professional clown, and he lived his life with like so much joy and grace. And every day was just like a day where he like lived life to the fullest. So whenever I'm having a shitty day, it's on my wrist. It's like a little clown cloud,
I love it.
like a smiley cute clown
Oh,
cloud.
I
So
love
whenever
it.
I'm having a shitty day, I can like look down at my wrist and be reminded that like it's not that deep and that I can still choose to like live my day with positivity and with joy in honor of my cousin. So
Oh, I love that so
muy
much.
cute, muy
Muy,
cute.
muy.
Yes.
All right. And with that, guys, stay tuned because we're going to talk about something pretty near and dear to our hearts. So we'll be right back.
All right, guys, there's so many ways for people to cover the story of what's happening in the United States right now. We want to cover it from an angle that is true to our show. And for us, that's covering it from a sports perspective. Meli, you are currently covering the FIFA Club World Cup. It has been on pretty much every news headline or every outlet that I've seen that ICE is going to be enforcing during the Club World Cup, or at least during the Miami games. My dad actually went to the first game, the Inter Miami game, because he got tickets via my brother's school for $5 after this was announced. And he mentioned that the stands were like empty. La hinchada, normally for Inter Miami, there's like so many people outside, like making choripanes, like cooking, grilling. And then during the game, there's like the whole hinchada with los tambores that are out there, you know, like playing the beats, la murga, la cumbia. And he said like there was like nobody there. Have you heard like what kind of impact this is having on the games?
Yeah, for sure. And, as a soccer fan myself, what I want first and foremost is success of this game, the success of the growing game in this country. And if you have, these types of current events, it's very unfortunate, especially at a time where not only where the U.S. is host to the FIFA Club World Cup, but next year
The World
U.S.
Cup.
is U.S. is a co-host of the FIFA World Cup.
Yeah.
What I've heard, my husband also went to that Inter Miami game. And of course, Hard Rock Stadium is way bigger than the stadium that Inter Miami plays at. First,
That's
just
true.
want to state that. And yes, the ticket sales were down. I don't know how in a 24-hour, 48-hour time frame, FIFA was able to pretty much almost fill up the stadium, not sold out, but it was from the camera perspective and also stadium perspective. I mean, there was way more than what it was projected. However, I do think it would have been an easy sellout weeks ago if by any chance, there weren't the current events happening with, say, for instance, the immigration policy with all of this, the enhanced security. I do want to say it's just we all as soccer fans and me personally, we all want to have a sense of we don't want to have anxiety going into games. We want to go to games to not only be entertained, but to have an experience, to live the passion. We don't want to worry about X, Y, and Z. We as soccer fans want to just go out and have fun and watch football right in our on our home soil. And so, yeah, have there been the effects of everything that's going on in this current sporting event? For sure. And like you said, La hinchada de Inter Miami, it's predominantly Latinos, right? And they're the ones
Right.
who are leading la barra, who are doing the choripan, who are, the heart and soul of the club and a lot of these clubs around the country. And then not only the clubs around this country in the United States, but also the clubs around the world that are coming in. We watched
Mhm.
we watched Boca's game in Miami, and it makes me so happy to see such a big hinchada de Boca who either travel in or are locals, Argentinos or not even Argentinos, just Boca fans from, around the world. And like seeing that, just like it just creates this sense of like unity. Because one thing that football does, and I know from my own experiences, is that it creates unity. Like
Yeah.
football it bridges people. And that's what I hope that this type of tournament and next year, that's what it does. Not create the separation that all the external factors that we are dealing with has been doing. Like I want to see this soccer bring people together at the end of the day and not have a negative effect, which it has and will continue to be on the ticketing, on the experiences, because we are people of the world at the end of the day. And this is the world's game, right?
Mhm.
And if it's just a time of uncertainty, to have to prove whether you're a citizen or not, etc. Like there's going to be people that unfortunately are not going to want to feel comfortable to travel in or attend the games for X and Y or Z reasons.
I totally agree with you on the sentiment of bringing people together. There have been many organizations and teams that have spoken out about this. The NWSL, WNBA Players Union addresses it. They released a joint statement on Thursday. I'm reading this, with the unions expressing their solidarity with all people seeking safety, dignity, and opportunity. Angel City releases Immigration City t-shirts after the protests, and so much more. If you guys are interested in learning more, there are so many people that are covering this, also from a sports perspective and from a different perspective that we cannot offer you, because we're not news reporters, but we do see the effects that it has on women's sports and sports in general. So we definitely wanted to take a moment to talk about it.
Yeah. I have to say, especially from the women's soccer side, like Angel City released a t-shirt, and it on the shirt, on the front of it, it said Immigrant City Football Club. And I just got to say, like, when I saw that, I was like, wow, that's a way of showing inclusion. And that's a way of using their platforms in a city like Los Angeles that's been going through so much, right?
Yeah.
And from a women's sporting side that already tries to promote inclusion, especially women's sports. Like women's sports over men's sports, I love both, right? I'm a fan of all sports. But one of the things that I've learned through my experience, especially as a female footballer, was like women's sports always invites inclusion. Okay, at the end of the day. And by Angel City doing that, I honestly, I was proud of them. And that's my opinion, and I'll stand by it, because this is a time of such uncertainty in a community that is going through a lot. And I think for them, you know, they're using, like what I said before, football as a way of unity, and they did it for their game. So I just wanted to say I love that, and shout outs to Angel City. And I know some of the people that work there. And I just wanted to say, you know, from my Latina perspective, that was awesome.
Yeah. I also have realized, as we were having this conversation and like leading up to this conversation, that I don't think that you, Meli, I've heard you necessarily talk, obviously like one-on-one, but have we publicly spoken about how we've gotten to the United States as a family? I don't think so. So
No.
I kind of wanted to share with you guys a little bit about like my immigration story and how I came to the United States. If you didn't know this about me, I was actually born in Argentina. I grew up in Argentina, moved to the United States when I was 7 years old. When I was in Argentina, my dad was an engineer. My mom was a teacher slash professor, and she also had like a sweater business with my abuela, which I think is mad cute. And my dad was seeking more opportunities because there is a certain cap on what it is that you can do doing what he was doing in Argentina. That simply is not a thing here in the United States. There's just so much more opportunity. We have always been a very tight-knit family. My abuela has 13 brothers and sisters. So my family is huge in Argentina. Very, very, very unified, united. And we would always go to each other's houses, have asados, you know, have lechon. I would go, my family also makes a lot of pasta. So I would remember like very vividly going to my tia's houses and like taking the bread and like stealing the tuco from the pan and then getting yelled at because there was not going to be enough sauce for the pasta that we were going to eat later in the day. And my parents made the decision to leave Argentina, which was extremely, extremely difficult for them, but also for me as a little girl. Like it was like one of the hardest things that I've ever done. And I think that that's also why, as I was reflecting the last time that I was like leaving Argentina, I was like, I think this is why I'm like such an emotional person, because I have so much unconditional love from both places that I consider to be my home. And I feel like this constant gravitational pull to both places, which does not undermine how much I love one place and does not undermine how much I love another place. My parents made the decision to move. I remember when they told me, I just like broke down crying. I was like, I do not want to leave. I don't want to leave my family. I do not want to leave my friends. I do not want to leave my abuelos. Which is also why I'm such a big Shakira fan that I told you about this. My dad gave me the Donde Están los Ladrones CD. And then I listened to Donde Están los Ladrones while I was in Argentina, like getting ready to move to the United States, listen to it on the plane. It was like the one CD that I have. Listen to it once I got here. And once I got here, the transition was so difficult. I cried every single day when I was in elementary school. My mom had to pick me up for 2.5 weeks straight because I would bawl and would not stop crying, and the teacher didn't know what to do with me. I was so sad to have left my home, my family, and my dad. It was just Father's Day. I was thinking about everything that he sacrificed, you know, for our family. He was barely home. He needed to make money. Like, he was just like flying from one place to another, trying to build a base for our family to grow from here in the United States, that I find to be something so respectable. My mom, we came over and she couldn't work, which was very difficult for her because my mom is a hustler, but she was not like legally allowed to work. So she struggled with that a lot. And she, you know, found things to do, but slowly but surely we started to like settle down here in the United States. And I continued to hustle because my parents, I never took anything that my parents did for granted. I worked when I was in high school. I paid for my own way through college, which was very challenging. I also convinced my husband Luciano at the time, who was just my friend, to give me a job at a restaurant for a month so I could finish paying my tuition, and lie to his boss so that he would give me a job knowing that I was leaving in a month. And he was like, absolutely, I'll lie for you. So all that to say is that I'm just very grateful for the sacrifices that my parents have made. And I think that, you know, geographically, I had the blessing of being born in Argentina into the family that I was born into, and to have the opportunity for my dad to make the transition and come to the United States. But I do have full recognition that geographically, not everybody is as lucky. Financially, being born into the family and the situations that you're born into, that's just mere luck. Like, let's just face it, you know.
Facts. But do I wish my my mom and dad came from money? Hell yeah.
Yo,
I'm like, wouldn't that be nice?
I would love to have been born as like Messi's kid, straight up.
Oh, facts. I'm like, generational wealth. What's that?
LOL.
No,
we are working on it though. We did talk to a financial advisor.
We did.
What about you, Meli?
Before I move on to me, I just want to tell you, Cami, thanks for sharing that. And I think a really important part of why you share that, what I'm about to share, you know, our story, is because storytelling and telling true stories helps paint the picture and helps build empathy. And at the end of the day, that's what we need in this world. We need more empathy, okay? And from my sports journalism side of things, like, my role is, a lot of it is storytelling. And I've seen firsthand how important it is, because it educates people and it lets them just gain insight of what it's like from another POV. Okay, at the end of the day, because I don't live the same life that you live, right? I don't live the same life that, I don't know, fulano lives or fulana lives, okay? But if I learn about it, then I could say, okay, wow, that's interesting. I never thought about that. Right. And so I think learning from your story, it's incredible. Why? Because you went from being born in Argentina, Camila Ramon, to becoming, you know, the first Spanish-speaking Peloton instructor, like living out your life in New York City and providing a platform for people of all ages, colors, backgrounds to be inspired. You've changed lives of thousands and thousands of people by using your platform and, you know, your inspiration through fitness as well. And so that's what I love to see, as like these types of stories, so that people find a way to be like, wow, yeah, that's someone who maybe wasn't born in this country, but has positively impacted this country in one way or another. You know what I mean?
My girl, thank you.
Woo, that coffee hit just in time.
Yeah, I do have to say though that I think it also goes beyond that. It's not necessarily like just who we are as professionals, or what we provide, but also just like a baseline of humanity as a whole. That is one of the things that kind of I have been struggling with the most to grasp about what's been happening, you know?
Yeah.
Um, but thank you. Thanks for being my head girl. I was like tearing up in the middle. I was like, oh my God, I love you.
And to our listeners too, you know, this podcast doesn't exist without your guys' support. We also see you, and we also want to highlight your stories as well and hear your stories too. And that's why we want to share our stories as well. Because again, like, we are so appreciative of all of your support, and we want to help build our community and also build empathy. So, back to where we were.
Meli, you were born in the United States, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So, born and raised in South Florida, and my parents immigrated to this country, I want to say over 45, 50 years ago, actually. My mom was around 5 years old. My dad was 16, 17 years old, both from Colombia. My mom comes from a family that they were better off in Colombia, actually. You know, they tenía una finca. My grandpa was, uh, really a well-known accountant. But with the situation in Colombia at the time, my grandpa decided that it was better to seek better opportunities in the United States. And they moved. They moved to California. From California, took a Greyhound bus literally across the country to New York to find a job for my grandpa and my grandma. My grandma worked in factories in New York City. She went from having maids, having so much in Bogota, to literally having to learn English, going to English school at night, to having to work in a factory and raise two kids. And then on the other side, my dad arrived to this country at 16 years old. It's pretty crazy because my dad is one of 11, kind of like you,
Oh,
Cami.
wow.
Big family, big
Yeah.
family. And the eldest aunt won like the visa lottery to come to this country. And little by little was working and saving up to help bring cada hermana, cada hermano to this country. Okay, which is insane. It's a beautiful story. And they met separately, but they met in Queens, New York, and they had me and my brothers in Florida. So, you know, we were the three of us born in Florida, United States, in a very Colombian household. So my parents never lost sight of our culture, of our heritage. You know, for me, breakfast were always arepas con salsa in the background,
Oh, so
like
good.
blasted. And so that's pretty much like the immigration story of my parents, which was not easy because they had to learn English. They had to work hard. You know, my dad arrived to high school with not knowing a lick of English, and then all of a sudden be just thrown into a public school in New York, in Queens. That's not easy.
Mm-mm.
And he quickly, learned the trade and became a mechanic. And, years later, him and my mom, they're still together, like 40 plus years, own a business together. And just to see the way that my parents hustled and worked, and my mom wanted to give my brothers and I the type of future in life that they didn't have.
Mhm.
And my mom would take 2, 3 jobs so that they could put us at times in private schools. So I was in and out of public and private schools in South Florida, while they were also paying to put me in soccer, in club soccer, in sports, and for my brothers to play sports. And so they worked their asses off to essentially, for me to be able to do what I'm doing now, is because of
Yeah.
what they did, the sacrifices that they did. And so, like, I know so many stories like that, of just so many people, immigrants, whether you come from South America, Europe, etc., that are like that. Just the hustle and the impact that they've given, like, their future generations. And because of this country, I'm very proud. I'm proud to be American, proud to have, been born and raised here.
I'm so
Well,
grateful. I'm so grateful to be here. And I think that that's
yeah,
something that um, people think is not the case when we speak about these topics. And I think it's because I love being here so much. And I love, you know, the community, the opportunity, the people that I've met along the way, and even the diversity and the beauty that this country has, that it makes me even, more proud to be having these conversations right now. And I was just, when you were talking about your parents, I was like tearing up. I was like, every time I'm like tearing up, I always drink water. So if you guys see me grab up my water bottle, just know it's probably because I'm about to cry.
Or it might be vodka or water.
Absolutely not. I do not drink vodka. You crazy bitch. I could never. I was getting very emotional when you were talking about your parents, because it's like, that's why we owe everything to our parents. That's why, as people who were not like born here, or were, who are generations were not like born here, our parents are immigrants, we owe them literally everything. I would not be here. I was talking to my cousin the other day, who was like, well, what do you think that you would be doing if you were in Argentina and you had never moved to the United States? And I was like, honestly, I don't know. I have absolutely no idea where I would have ended up, but I know that, everything happens for a reason, and that we came here, and here I am to be able to have these conversations, and to be able to show up in these places and, represent and hold space for our communities to like get together and talk about these things that are so important. So thank you, Meli, so much for sharing. And I have to re-hype you up afterwards, because Melissa also went back to Colombia, right? So
Yeah.
In essence, you kind of like got you did the opposite. You like came to the United States, you were born in the United States, you went to work in Colombia. You were working for the Colombia national team when she was playing soccer professionally. And then you were also welcome there.
Yeah.
To have those opportunities and to like reconnect with your culture. That's something very important. And then you came back kind of like knowing what you needed to do with that resiliency and that hard work that was ingrained into your brain from your parents, and that hustle. And she went from being the soccer blogger to now one of the most, what's the title? Because I don't want to mess it up.
You got it. You got it. What, my title, my work title?
No, the recognition that you just got.
Oh my gosh.
2025's most influential sports.
I don't even know the title I won, but it's pretty badass. 2025 most powerful women in sports by Adweek.
Come on now. This little old Latina from Colombia. Come on.
Yeah, that was amazing. Thanks, Cami. I sometimes, when you're in like the trenches, I'm just like in the work grind, that I sometimes don't step back and reflect on that and like those accomplishments. And yeah, man, winning that award for me, especially as a Latina, was a really important, like, I don't know. It was a really great recognition. We don't do this for the recognitions. We don't do this for the awards, but to have won that amongst the incredible people that that won it this year. Oh man, I teared up when I saw that.
Very proud of you. And if you guys have made it this far in the episode, I just want to thank you for listening to our stories and hearing us out. I understand that there may be people from all parts of the world that are listening to this. So we just want to thank you for listening with open hearts and open minds. And don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we're closing out this episode with more sports and some music, of course. Do not go anywhere. BRB. And we're back. Every episode, Meli and I want to leave you with more of the two things we love, música and fútbol. This part of the show is called Hágame Famosa. Meli, what are you jamming out to right now?
Oh, what am I jamming out to? Okay. Really quick. I love Fonseca, and this isn't like the latest release. I just went to his concert in Miami last week, and girl, love. Fonseca just hits my heart every time. I look at Christian, I'm like, can we just get married again? Because like, I don't know, I'm just full of romantic vibes right now. So Fonseca, I love.
There's a Colombian spot that I go to get my pan de bonos frequently here by my house. And every time I go in there, I'm like, this is going to age me, but I Shazam the songs. I Shazam the songs, and I'm like, oh my God, I haven't heard this Fonseca Carlos Vives track in so long. Like, they always hit. And Fonseca's like such a good positive vibe. Like, love to hear it.
Can we just take a moment of silence for his arms? Have y'all seen his biceps?
I have not, but he needs to drop the routine.
No. I feel like he needs to go to a Peloton class. We need to make this happen. He needs to go to a Peloton class. Literally, he had the mic in his hand on stage, And Christian was like, okay, Fonseca, can you stop flexing? And I look at my husband, I'm like, are you jealous? And he was just like, no, he just looks like he's like consistently flexing. How is he holding that flex for 3 hours? I'm like, they not flexing. That's like natural.
That's just him in his natural state. That's insane.
Well, whatever you're doing at the gym, keep doing it.
Yeah. And if you want to text Fonseca and tell him to come to class, Meli, please do.
On it.
I, on the other hand, I have to say that if there's one thing that I love about Karol G is that she like themes out her looks and her literal life to her albums. So the first one, well, first she had her red hair, right?
Yeah.
Then she transitioned into the pink hair for Mañana Será Bonito. She had the pink hair. It was like pink and cutesy. And then now for her Tropicoqueta, you can see her with like her honey highlights and her very much so like it's like all just themed for like the tropical energy. And I do have to say that I did this first with Amistad y Decepción, which is a series that I did like 3 years ago that was like novela inspired. But Karol G did a whole like promotion for her album with like all of the novela icons like Anaí, Acela Robinson, Gaby Spanik, and more. Like, and I just love the fact that she's like really into like the Latina aesthetic. Yes, it's stereotypical, but yes, it still hits me in the heart with the nostalgia. And I'm okay with that. I know that you sometimes feel a little differently, but I'm okay with that right now. I'm really digging it. And I think that like my heart really needs it.
Okay. I mean, look, I am never not gonna, I don't know, perrear not to a Karol G song or just be in my feelings, because it's either one way or the other with Karol G. I feel like sometimes I'm like vibing, bah, bah, and then there's other times where I'm just like, oh my God, that's hitting. So, I mean, I'll always be a fan of Karol G no matter what. Is that your dog?
He was scratching.
Rex.
He was a little itchy.
I like hearing in the background. Da, 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 da. Rex, we're on a podcast.
I think he heard you actually because he was looking at me.
No, I love this. Okay, so in the world of sports, it's the FIFA Club World Cup that I am covering. And at the release of this podcast day, we will be now in match day 3, which, y'all, things get heated because that's when you know, kind of, depending on the results of this third game, who's going on to the round of 16, who's going on to the knockout phases. And that's when things get lit. Like, that's when things get for real in the third game. So it's going to be exciting. And I think that as we inch nearer to the final, we're going to really see a lot of even better football, but also we're going to see a lot of more fans, hopefully. And we're also going to see, which the FIFA Club World Cup wasn't getting a lot of hype, especially from Europe. At the end of the day, competition is competition. And when your club is on the line, or when money is on the line, for instance, the total purse of this tournament is $1 billion. And the winner...
$1 billion?
$1 billion. Yeah, the purse. So that means that the winner of this tournament takes home 100 Meli. Meli. Yeah, dude.
Insane.
It's insane. Yeah.
You know what the craziest thing about the FIFA Club World Cup is for me as an Argentina? It's like watching my team, like Boca Juniors, playing against like Di Maria and Otamendi and like cheering for both sides at the same time. Like, was insane. Yeah. And I'm sure people from different countries feel the same way about like their players being like so intertwined.
For real. And then lastly, U.S. women's national team games are going on this week and next week. They're taking on Ireland and Canada. I'll be at those games too. The work doesn't stop. The fun doesn't stop. I'm just like, I don't know.
Pray for Meli. #, pray for Meli that she makes it.
Thank you. And a lot of coffee. Prayers, send coffee this way, and good vibes. Thank you. Okay, and that's it.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. That's a wrap on this week's podcast. If you have any stories that you guys want to share, please drop them in the comments on this episode. Like, we want to hear from you guys. And yeah, we'll see you all next week. Do not miss out on our episodes, baby. Bye.
Deuces.
Hasta Abajo Abajo is an iHeart women's sports production in partnership with Deep Blue Sports and Entertainment.
For more podcasts, listen to the iHeart Radio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.